what is the strategy regarding the gray? That was a big thing to me that only seemed to be told in retrospect. In retrospect, by the time you get to like late in episode 3, it does seem like Cait and Vi had used the gray, had weaponized the gray against the nation of Zaun. And because there was a line in there that said, we use that to clear the streets. So that seemed to be their interpretation, that because then you also get in retrospect, in fact, kind of a flashback kind of situation where Cait goes and says and finds out that her family is in charge of the ventilation system. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah,
then it was
I
like,
think
okay,
that's right.
When Vi says something like that the gray cleared the streets, that, so Vi and Cait weaponized the ventilation system to actually pump the gray into the streets, in their opinion, to clear them, to
interesting use of words.
Right. Well, I took that to mean they thought that we're going to clear the streets so that when there's a fight in the streets, innocents won't get hurt. Like, to make sure there are not, it's like, that to make sure that there are not innocents in the streets when we start fighting. I at least took that that's their interpretation of it.
Their justification, yeah.
Yeah, that we're going to pump this into the Undercity to make sure that everybody runs away, and so when the guns start shooting, it will only be combatants on the street. So that was their interpretation of that. But that was never. That's only my interpretation. Is that other people's interpretation? I'll have to see. I don't know.
No, I again, one of the flaws that I had with some of their setups was, before I understood clearly what they were doing, it moved into stylization mode. So suddenly it was like, and then the animation would change, and then it would back, and I was like, I don't even know if I understand what this is, what's going on here. And the gas that they were spraying in there was one of them. They kind of moved right into that and got really stylized real quick. So, but yeah, I sensed that, like Total Recall, where they cut off the air supply of the of the slums, so to say, that they're gonna punish the underworld because they have some upper hand on something like that. That's what I got out of it.
I know nothing about the game, but Druden Fuzz said the 5-person team, I think, is just to remind people.
I wondered that too, if there was some nod to the video game with some of the gear up scenes.
So maybe.
Oh, there's always being nods to the video game.
Well, but if there were in season 1, they were all invisible to me.
But yeah, right. I didn't pick it. So I would never have thought that.
Constant.
Really? Then they did. Yeah. They're amazing.
But but also Druden Fuzz says Singed also got not introduced with the name of the first season, but only weaved occasionally and is needed in the plot. My point is that I don't think those other people were needed in the plot. Like, I think you could you have not told this story if Cait shows up and says, here's what I'm going to do. She says she's got several objectives. I'm going to find Jinx. I'm going to take out the Shimmer, which is like their drug production facility. And there was something else, right? What if she had only done that with Vi?
But because they tried that in season 1 and that didn't work. So that's why, like, it doesn't make sense in universe that she would go and do that again. So she's like, this time we're going to go with
there's a little bit of a problem with the Vi setup here, structurally, I think. And of course, it's all how the writer does it. I feel that Vi is a what's the word? Flagship character for the world of Zaun. She came from Zaun. She was toughened by Zaun. She was one of your apex fighters down there. She's a leader down there. And now she's kind of hanging out with Piltover doing this hunt down thing, this dragnet thing. And it feels a little off to me. I feel like she's on the wrong team, and maybe they'll.
I think you're supposed to feel that way.
I know it just
she feels that way. Like, I love that introduction. Like, when you first see her in the Enforcer gear, she's like so uncomfortable. It's like she's pained. Like, she's like, you can tell she doesn't want to be doing this.
And yet she looks so good in it.
She does, but and her face is like the face of someone who's like reluctantly betraying someone. Like, that's kind of
but she also doesn't. I don't think she's there yet. Like, do they have any? Does she have to cut her hair for this? Are tattoos okay? Like, usually these things, there's more to it than just putting on a uniform. There's a whole there's enculturation, you have to be trained for this. And they're making it seem like this is the Wild West where we just flip the badge over.
You just said Wild West. You know what you were making me think of as you were saying that, and then you said Wild West. What you made me think of was
deputizing
Holiday going to fight. What's his name?
Johnny Ringo.
Johnny Ringo. Right. Yes. I was thinking about that. I was going that direction. That like all of a sudden at the end, Vi, is going to fight Jinx, and whatever, and this fight, and is this going to be an extrajudiciary fight, between a rogue and this bad guy, and then she turns her collar or whatever, and she's wearing the badge, and she's like, "This time we're legal." Man, it could have been a Doc Holliday, Ringo kind of fight.
Yeah, that's a deputy. They deputized him,
right.
And that
he deputized himself. He just kind of took that badge.
But it's the pattern of being deputized. It's
right.
Like being knighted, like an Excalibur. You get rights if you're knighted. But I feel like this society was a little bit more hierarchical and structured with a central government and all of that.
Yeah, but didn't Caitlin have to like threaten to remove family funding and stuff to get Vi in there? Like they clearly weren't going to accept her in. She's strong.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a lot of resistance to her, like from storytelling, from a structural standpoint, forcing her into that uniform. It took a lot to do it, and I just feel like, would she really do this? Would she really want to do? Is she really in throwing her lot in with these guys up here? I mean, I know that there's a romantic relationship with Cait, but the whole culture's up there. There's a lot more that comes with Cait than just Cait. And I don't know. To me, she never quite fit. It seems really at odds. And again, it could all work out. I'm assuming she's going to turn against all these people at some point, but it was just awkward.
In the game, her name is Enforcer Vi. Like,
is it really?
Yeah. So we've all been waiting for this to happen. I say we. I'm not actually a player of I don't know why I act like that, but I guess I have a little bit of knowledge of.
Well, you knew that.
and I'm like a fan of their video games. I mean, no, they're not their video games. They're music videos. So I have a little bit of some familiarity with the lore and stuff.